So the only podcast you ever did was a French podcast.
I did. Yeah, I was staying with this dude on couch surfing. You know that site?
No.
You
What is couch surfing?
You sign up, you pay like $2, and there's people all around the world that want to have you sleep on their couch.
Okay. No way.
Yeah. Like
Wait,
tons of people everywhere you go.
Yeah.
It's like there's a little bio about them. Hey, I'm such and such. They're usually older, but there's people like your age, and they're just like, I like meeting new people, come sleep on my couch.
No way.
And you'll just reach out to them like, hey, I'm here these dates. And it's rare that you get a response.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've read, you're more likely to get a response if you're a girl.
Right.
But if you're if you're like, or if you're just, if your vibes are good in general on your profile, I had a little more trouble getting a response, but this one dude in Tours, France, he hit me back.
Tours, France?
Yeah.
Where is that?
It's in the Loire Valley, I want to say.
Say less.
It's like a wine region.
Yeah,
it's like southwest of Paris. He got back to me and he was like, let's do it.
Wait, so where were you staying in France prior? Just at hostels?
I was in Paris, at like a hostel.
And then you got a response on couch surfing and you're like, bet.
Yeah. I knew I wanted to go south because I was also doing a work away. Yeah. Right? Which is where you like work on a farm in the south. But yeah, this dude hit me up and he was like, come stay with me for a couple days. He's like 60, 65. I think he's retired, whatever.
So when you said old people, it's mostly...
Yeah, it's like people who are just chilling. Maybe they're bored. I don't know. Maybe they just like traveling, but...
Okay, wait. 2 questions.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. What does your profile on couch surfing look like? Is it like Tinder? Like, do you have like
low
pictures?
Key. Yeah, there's like, you like upload pictures. I was like struggling to find like my best pictures, but they're basically the same pictures that would go on my Tinder profile.
Yeah.
And you just have a little blurb about you, trying to say like, a weird thing is you have to make it seem like you would do the same if you were in their shoes, even though I totally wouldn't. But in my bio, I'm like, and if you ever come to New York, I'll have you, which is totally a lie. I would never do that shit. But like, you have to make it seem like that. So basically my bio, I forget what it was, but it was just like, I love traveling. Yeah. I love meeting new people, and this dude hit me back, but he was like, I only speak French. I mean, he spoke a little English, but that was good for me because I was trying to learn. Right. But then we spent a day together. He like showed me around the city. It was very cool. At one point we were walking by the river and it started raining and we like ran back home. It was like kind of romantic. It was very nice. And then when we got back, he started telling me about this podcast and he was like, if you want to do an episode, and I was like, I mean, I'm not going to say no. No, right. Even though I speak very little French. Yeah. But basically he just asked me questions about myself, He was just like, what have you been doing? What's your life story? And I was just like struggling in French, fully making up words. But like, but he got the gist. And I'd be like, what is this word? And he'd help me out. I don't think he ever posted it, but like, damn. But I made it through. And then after we were done, it had been 45 minutes and I was like,
wait, what's the pod? Plug his pod.
Oh, the pod he's called Dopai, D-O-P-I. Dopai.fr.
Dopai.fr.
I think that's the pod.
Fuck yeah.
And he just talks to people like me. It was pretty chill.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy you did that.
I know, right? Like,
do you ever think about that again? Like, but you got to do it once.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I would never do any of that again. Probably like stay in a hostel and like go couch surfing and stay on people's couches.
You would never stay in a hostel again?
I mean, I would, but I don't think I would do couch surfing again.
No, couch surfing is crazy. But it's an interesting, I don't know, it's an interesting way of life.
It is.
There's definitely people that fucking rely on that website nowadays.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I mean, there's people just in the city you live who are doing it, not because they're traveling, but just to chill. But like, it's not even a safety thing too. I just wouldn't do it because it's like, it's a lot of social effort, to like spend a whole couple days with this person, sleep with them, not with them, but like
in the other room,
in the same, I slept in a room with this person like separated by a curtain that I had just met that day, and I'm like, worried that I'm gonna like keep her up snoring, which I did at a hostel once. like it was like a 6-bed hostel, and then later that night or the next day, we were like at the bar or whatever, and they were like, one of the dudes was like, there was like a pause, a moment of silence, and he was like, bro, you snore loud as fuck. He was like, I had earplugs in, and you were like keeping me up. And then everyone was like, yeah, dude, that was you? Like
the whole room?
The whole room.
Yeah.
And this was after like a month of staying in other hostels, and I thought I was keeping it pretty chill. Nobody had said anything.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, oh, no, man. That's bad.
Yeah. So you had that moment right there where you realized like everyone for the past month has been listening to
everybody.
Oh.
It was bad.
How long have you been snoring like that?
As long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, probably since like high school or whatever.
Yeah.
Like my mom, I think, told me first when we were like in a hotel room, like, not only do you snore, but like I have sleep apnea.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. I mean, not by a doctor, but you'll like hold your breath for mad long in your sleep.
Oh.
And that like you'll take a breath.
Mm-hmm.
And then like if someone's awake, they're like, "Are you dead?" And then you'll just like,
yep,
like come to life, like gasp again.
Yeah. I feel like I know the type of snoring you're talking about. Now. It sounds like someo's choking in their sleep.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You'll also do like a.
Yeah.
And then like. But the worst side effect is it makes your hangovers like 10 times worse.
What? Why?
Because you don't get oxygen to your brain when you're like sleeping, because you're not breathing.
Yeah.
So like, it's the same as like drinking water. Obviously helps with a hangover because you're getting like, I don't know how it works, but like, I guess when you don't breathe, you're not getting oxygen, and then you wake up even after you've had 2 or 3 drinks.
Wow.
And you're just like worst hangover. So I can only have like 3 drinks, and then if I go to bed, no matter how much water I drink, if I wake up after more than 3 drinks, I'll throw up.
What is the worst hangover you've ever had?
Oh,
I really want to hear about this.
Oh, yeah, they're bad, and it's not because I drink a lot. It's just because of
your sleep apnea.
It was probably like New Year's 2019.
Oh my God.
Going into 2019. It was like high school, so obviously, I wasn't allowed to drink, so we were all at my friend's place whose parents were like kind of cool with it, but they were out of town, but they kind of knew like, there was always that one friend that had those parents. So we're over there, and it was just through, I think, a few games, like beer pong will always get you, because you're just drinking little sips of beer, but it really adds up. And there was just one moment where I just realized like I'm done for.
Yeah.
And I walked, and it's like the moment of clarity where you walk in to the house and you're like, I'm about to black out. And then I went to the bathroom and I did not come out until the next morning. I fell asleep like
in the bathroom.
I fell asleep in the bathroom. Yeah. Like on the toilet.
I had a friend in college that was notorious he always ended up sleeping in the freaking bathtub.
Yeah.
It was
never
just his
again.
thing. So you can just never get really drunk.
Never.
You can
not
literally
anymore. I used to not know this, and I would get too drunk, and it was just stupid. And then I would just. There was one. Okay, this is gross.
Okay, no, let's hear it.
This was one of the worst. But one time I went to sleep really drunk, and I woke up in the process of throwing up. And I didn't,
my God.
I didn't know it, but I just like jolted awake choking.
It was the choke.
I was choking on like
holy crap.
Vomit.
Yeah.
And my instinct in not knowing what was happening but waking up choking was just swallow. And so I basically just this is so gross.
No, go.
I basically just swallowed
your throw up.
My throw up.
Yeah. And then you woke up like, what the fuck did I just...
and then I woke up and I just the whole day, I like had stuff planned the whole next day. I just had to cancel because I was just like so hungover and just like, it was terrible. This was before I knew how to like, pull the trigger.
Pull the trig.
I've had a lot of bad ones, and it's making me sound like an alcoholic, but
no, you're definitely not an alcoholic.
It's just a sleep apnea,
These are like the few experiences where you realized about how sleep apnea affects hangovers.
I didn't know it was sleep apnea. I just thought I was a super lightweight, which I am. But then it was like, I think my mom was telling me about her friend who said once she got a CPAP machine, her hangovers like went away. You know? So I still, once I get some health insurance next month.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
cop the CPAP machine.
Cop the CPAP.
That's gonna be huge.
And then just let loose, you know.
The day you cop the CPAP machine, you gotta just celebrate.
Let loose,
pop the champagne.
Absolutely. I've kind of learned my limit finally, though. Yeah, I think we're at the age where
it's about time. Yeah.
At this age, when you see people getting just way beyond their limit, it's like,
you know, they're dealing with something. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
That's
you're
how
probably
I really
doing
think
something.
about it. Yeah, you're probably just doing it to avoid negative thoughts.
Right. Right.
You know, you're compensating with it.
Yeah.
I feel like we're at such a transitional age, man, where just life feels so different. I don't know if you feel that way.
Oh yeah.
In the last few months, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I really have no room for bullshitting myself anymore.
That's true.
Yeah.
I get kind of teased at work for not being wild, not staying up late and having a drink every night. And it's not because I don't want to, and it's not even because I'm on a schedule and I'm trying to motivate myself and hustle and whatever. It's just I don't want to wake up every morning feeling like shit.
Yeah.
You know,
it's this weird cycle where I don't know. I don't even want to get it. I feel like everything I could say about this will just sound cringy and motivational
right. Well, but also I think this age too is just our life is becoming all about work.
Yeah.
Which it wasn't, even though I was working in college and high school, it's my life wasn't all about work. But now it really is, and it's earlier you had friends who that was the case for, but friends who it wasn't. But now it's just we're at an age where all of our lives are just kind of about work.
I know.
And it's setting in too that this is how it's going to be forever.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I always used to think I was smarter than older people. And it's because I saw them and I would be like, oh man, these people are just not enjoying life. They're just sad and miserable. They're idiots, you know?
Right.
And now when I talk to older people, I'm like, wow, I can learn something from all of them.
Yeah.
Because they've experienced years of what I'm about to endure. You know, of
I think they've given up on some of the fantasy that we had before, or just the unrealistic kind of way of thinking things are going to be. They've given up on that. And we're in the process of doing that.
But what's so cool about this transition in life we're experiencing now is that I do feel more free than ever.
Yeah.
I feel I have more power to do whatever the fuck I want whenever I want, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time I feel more confined to whatever my day-to-day schedule is, and to just having to grind every day. You know, having to make the most of every day, or else
I think the thought of being free in theory is what we have to hold, that's all we have, you know. It's it's the same reason people hold on to any type of delusion. You know, it's and not that it's necessarily a delusion, but it's that's kind of all we have to hold on to, is just it's just the thought that you could run away from it all, or do something sick, or just just do something different. And that, even if I have no plans to do anything with my life, you still have that to hold on to that makes you less miserable. That's my cynical way.
Yeah, you think the idea of it is the idea of freedom is what keeps us going every day?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, or just the idea of hope for something, even if it's just that you have something fun planned at the next day. That makes the whole current day so much better. Yeah. Right? It's just having something to look forward to, even if it's not real.
Yeah.
Right. That's kind of it's kind of all we have.
And do you think when older people get miserable, they kind of just lose that a little bit? They lose that oh. Yeah,
I mean,
what am I going to get, a fucking burger after this?
Yeah,
I've had a trillion burgers,
Right, it's set in that's this is it.
Yeah.
You know, whatever they've got going on, that's it.
But that's not true. you know?
Yeah, no, of course.
It's also just not true, too, in that respect.
That's what my therapist said.
That's what your therapist said?
Yeah.
What did he say specifically?
Just that's not true. That, like, you know, I think I said something like, everyone who is in my life now, that's pretty much like all that there is.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, that's not even close to true.
Right.
You know, like.
Right.
So, you know, I am a cynical person, and I'm trying to.
Is that all a bad thing? To be a cynical person?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Some people think so. I think, like, baseless optimism is you know, like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't help you. It doesn't help me to think that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in a way that I know is not realistic, but is optimistic.
There's beauty in all of it. I really think so. Like, I don't know. There's some people you see that they're tripping and how pessimistic they are. Like, they'll take like a trip to California and be like so concerned about like an earthquake that can probably hit. You know?
Right. The big one.
Oh my God. There's some people that are just living in constant fear wherever they are of something just happening, and it'll just avoid them from taking any risk whatsoever because they live
where
so
that makes
cynically.
Sense, though? If you live in fucking Tornado Alley.
Okay, yeah.
Oklahoma.
Right.
I was watching a video about that yesterday.
What was it about?
It's fucked up. Like, the amount of tornadoes they have every year, you know.
How many?
There's like a confluence
dozens?
of like 3 major wind patterns. Is that my friend? No, I don't think so. That all converge basically on Oklahoma, specifically like the very middle of Oklahoma, like the Oklahoma City metro area is like just the confluence of 3. It's just like the perfect storm for like the worst tornadoes.
Damn.
Two of the most powerful tornadoes ever recorded hit the same town in a span of like 12 years.
Oh my God.
They got hit by like the 2 most powerful tornadoes ever.
Just enough time for them to like get their shit back together.
They rebuilt
and
then just got fucking wiped off the map.
Oh. Yeah,
and there's still people that live there.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Right? I guess you just grow up there and then I don't know. I mean, I always wonder that. Like, wouldn't you just kind of move somewhere else?
Isn't it strange how people feel so connected to like random ass places? You know, like you grew up in Sacramento.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you ever think it's kind of weird when you see people that are just like so connected to Sacramento, so connected to like... But because you probably always wanted to move out of there, right?
Yes and no. I mean, I could see myself going back for sure.
Okay.
Like, now that I think about it, I am connected.
Okay.
You know, like, I see how you are connected to a place. Like, all your people are there, all your everything you've ever known, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Even if it gets completely destroyed by a tornado. But maybe that actually makes you want to stay more, you know.
Because
you're more connected to the community. Like, the rebuilding obviously brings the community closer together and everything. Couldn't be me, but...
No, that low-key just answered the question for me. I was tripping. I was absolutely tripping.
Respect to Oklahoma.
No, respect to fucking Oklahomans, bro. Yeah, no, for sure. They have had to rebuild that place a trillion different times.
Yeah.
You know what show I was watching? I actually wanted to start this conversation with this because you know how I was talking about how I also wanted to do a French podcast, right?
Yeah.
I was talking to you about that because I thought it was sick that you did a French podcast. For those still listening right now, before we had this conversation, anyways, Nick mentioned the French podcast, and I was like, oh, that's so sick, because I wanted to learn French at one point. You knew that, right?
Yeah. Are you still
well, now, no. I just stopped Duolingo. They give me those notifications every day, like, yo, come back. Yeah, I know. You're a Duolingo hater, but I think it's a good fucking interactive way for people like me that just can't even focus that much on it.
Yeah.
The new language I want to learn, this is going to sound crazy, is Japanese.
Oh, okay.
Because I was watching the show Shogun.
Yep.
You ever seen that show?
No.
Dude, you gotta watch it.
Yeah.
It's Shogun is one of the best freaking shows I've ever seen in my life. And one theme in that show, of the trillions of themes in it, is the strength of Japanese people, because they constantly have their society demolished by earthquakes.
Right.
And they constantly have to build it back.
Yeah.
And so even all their homes, there was a line in it that like their homes are meant to be destroyed and built back up again. That's why they're like designed the way they are.
That's insane.
Yeah, it is. It is.
They're just meant to like fold like a prop, like a cardboard house.
Kind of. Yeah, they're meant to be destroyed and built back up. Yeah, so you're right. It builds your connection with the place when you go through tragedy. It doesn't make you want to escape. That makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah, you're kind of just in it for the long haul. You kind of maybe see it as your purpose.
Right. Mm-hmm. Dude, if you learn Japanese, respect. Dude, I think that's probably the hardest language you could. I mean, because there's no connection to English. And not even like French is very similar. But like, and the characters it's not even written the same. Like you couldn't recognize any aspect of it.
I want to just have that respect for people. Like I want to just be able to. They talk so properly, and all their interactions are just done with such a level of respect. No matter how crazy the conversation is,
that's true.
No matter what's happening, I just want to have that. And just the bow. The bow is just like
I grew up playing classical piano, and my teacher like made us bow to each other before every lesson. And I really, you want to see my bow?
Yeah, I want to see your bow, dog. Wait, do it in the camera. Do it right here.
I mean,
I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. After all the bows I was watching in Shogun, like that bow was pretty weak.
You think? Bro,
you kind of hunched your back a little bit.
I worked on that form because you got to keep your like hand along your leg.
Oh, okay. I wasn't thinking about those factors.
My back could probably be straighter.
Yeah,
but my piano teacher,
your head a little
my piano teacher loved it.
Your piano teacher loved that bow.
She was like, "Nice bow." We worked on that.
How would you drill the bows? You would just she'd be like bow.
She'd be like
1,
bow.
2,
3, bow again. Do it again.
Yeah.
Pretty much for years.
Wow.
Years we bowed to each other.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So, okay, this leads me to the topic of what we wanted to talk about this podcast, right? Did you move from Sacramento to pursue music in New York?
I did.
Right.
I did.
And you just came out with an album for the first time.
Yep.
Holy crap.
Got a little EP going.
Did a little EP.
My first solo project. And it's really not something I ever thought I would make, because I came here, like I grew up playing classical piano, and then I got into like jazz, and I still do that, and I came here for the contemporary music and jazz school, which is more what I thought I'd be doing. And this EP is kind of like, well, what single, you listen to it, what single genre, if you just had to pick one genre word?
Oh man, because I did, when you just released that one single, you know how Spotify plays recommendations based off the song you just listened to? I got a lot of like alternative rock out of it. Yeah. But it's kind of like indie rock.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. Yeah, it's like indie rock.
It's like indie rock, yeah.
Which is, just not something I thought I would be making.
Yeah.
But I just kind of like realized you can just make... I also never thought I would like sing, because I'm not a good singer.
I was so surprised to hear your singing voice, man. It was good.
Yeah, well,
and the thing is, when I listen to it, I'm like, it makes sense. Like he kind of has this. He kind of has a voice for it. I never heard it before.
I can do kind of like a the pop punk like voice. But the thing is, you just use autotune, you use fucking effects, and you double your voice, so it's like.
I saw you did a lot of that.
You sing it twice.
A lot of the harmonies.
Yeah. And so you're singing the same thing twice, and it just helps the intonation kind of like work out, because then it's like the vibe is just, it's a little out of tune.
It's your own little chorus.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's like, it's basically a chorus effect. But then, basically like a couple of years ago, I just realized like you can just make music on the computer. You can make everything on the computer.
It's crazy.
Even if I barely play guitar, dude, I can just... play it enough to like record some shit, record my voice, record program drums, all in my room, all on my computer.
Music is purely industry now, if that makes sense.
It really is.
It's just
this is my, it's not even a hot take, it's a lukewarm, it's a cold take, but I get a lot of ads for like music production stuff, obviously, because that's like what I do, and I see so much shit that's like, get this like sample pack that has these like melodies and like chords that you just like plug in there and it's like chords already made, or like drums. And I'm just like, what is this? Like, I get that music should be accessible, definitely, to make. It should be accessible to make, but like not like that. Like, you still have to learn, or not even learn, but just like mess around and figure something out on the piano. Like, just put your fingers somewhere and like figure out something that you like and have a connection to.
Right.
Just sing a melody, anything, you know.
Yeah.
That you have a connection to.
The way I really thought about this is that, like, thing is, like, real art still isn't dying too, because as much as we think it's dying because of all the shitstorm of what these industries are becoming, like film, music, all of it, there's still a ton of real art being made.
Definitely.
Every day. And that, if you just looked at that, like, subsect of real art maybe for the last, like, 50, 60 years, it's still grown.
Yeah.
Even though the whole industry has grown, like, exponentially into something completely different.
Oh, yeah. I still think it's, like, a golden age for that, because it is more accessible, and because I think there are more opportunities to, like, promote your shit. You know, like, all I listen to on Spotify pretty much now is just like random ass indie artists that are making like amazing music that you never would have heard about if it weren't for, like, you know, the internet and like Instagram and stuff. It's not like back in the day where you could only get your shit out there if you had a major record label promoting it on like the radio, right? Or like in record stores. So I don't know, I think like that whole thing is hurtful and helpful, you know, that way of like promoting art. It's a hellscape for sure. Having to like promote yourself on Instagram, it's a so horrible
feeling,
excruciating, humiliating, cruel. It's cruel.
That first time where you like change your social media platform to like promote something, feels like you've entered a different world.
It's really humiliating.
Yeah, well, because then you're asking all these people that you just met or came across, it's like, you are now my followers. You are now my...
It's so horrible just to get a few plays on your shit.
But you got to do it. You have
to do it.
And it is a liberating thing at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're kind of like, I don't know. Well, I want to hear about how you changed your name, because you became Mommy Ryan.
Mommy Ryan.
And the thing, wait, I just got to say, because you were debating between a few different names, right?
Yeah.
I remember Niku's
Dreams,
which is your Pokemon tagline that we played together for a while.
So that's a good one.
I thought that was going to be the one, dude.
That's a good one, and like when you say it, it's like, it's awesome. Yeah. Niku's Dreams. But when you write it and you're not saying it, there's no way to spell it that like looks good. Like it like there's no way to spell it phonetically that people are gonna say it right, or it just looks like a Greek name, and you're like, is this dude like Greek? Is that what he's going for? Right. Like, I just couldn't find a way to spell it that like made sense. And everyone, pretty much all the names I had, nobody could agree on like, oh, that's the one. You know, like.
And one thing I've always recognized about you is your fucking vernacular, dude. You have impeccable vernacular.
I did bring some vernacular to Tavern.
You did, dude.
I did.
You know what I love that you said so much is cheeky, man. Cheeky is such a word that Americans need to fucking adopt.
Oh, it's so good.
It is so good.
These Australians, when they want to have a little snack in the afternoon, they'll call it a cheeky feed.
A cheeky feed.
A feed. Just have a feed.
Yeah.
Cheeky feed is so good.
Oh, that's just so flows, man.
The Australians, I really can't stand their accent, but I love their vernacular.
No, dude, your vernacular can add so much to your personality. Like what you choose to adopt and say, and you should be so mindful of it. Like, oh, dude, cheeky just works with fucking everything, and it just makes you smile a little bit.
It does, and everything you're gonna have, like, do you want to have a beer? Maybe not. It's only like 4 o'clock. Do you want to have a cheeky beer?
Yeah,
of course.
I have a cheeky little beer. Yeah. You
know, it's like 2 a.m. You're like, should I make a grilled cheese? You're like, it's really late. Should I have a cheeky feed?
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah,
you know, like, it's so much better.
Or you could describe something as cheeky, like, oh, dude, I just what's the thing I could say? I just freaking What's something like really bad? Let's think about it. Like something that would normally not sound that great. Oh, dude, I just freaking crashed my car. Oh, that's cheeky.
Dude,
no.
I got in a drunk driving accident.
Yeah.
That's
no,
cheeky,
or
man.
a freaking pigeon just shat on me.
Oh, dude.
What a cheeky little spot you got on
dude.
you.
that was cheeky though. That pigeon. That was cheeky.
That pigeon is cheeky.
It makes the whole thing better.
Yeah, it totally does. Okay, so what were you gonna say about vernaculars? What was your topic? I just had to bring that up.
Cheeky is good. Let's keep doing that. I was trying to remember some others that I used, but
cheeky little run, cheeky little. I'm just looking at shit around us now.
No, I was gonna say like as as a restaurant worker, because I have a ton of these, but like as restaurant workers, what are some restaurant things that are like pet peeves to you as a customer? Like when you're eating at a restaurant, like what are restaurant things that like annoy you?
Mostly just attitude. I hate when people just approach me with bad energy.
No, like when you're a customer at a restaurant.
Yeah. I hate like.
Oh, like when people working there.
Dude, like
you get that a lot?
All the time. Like people just literally like dumping all their shitty energy onto me
Really?
The second they approach me, man. Like it sucks. And inversely, I feel the same way as a worker when someone is eating at a restaurant and they just find the way to just dump that on me for the day. But I would say bad energy, and also just like, I don't know, because I'm a server, right? It's different than, I guess, the quality of food. I'm never really thinking about that, but just when people are just really late to do things, and they're just super inconsiderate whenever something is clearly off.
That's one thing, and again, we can say this because we're restaurant workers. It's not in a boomer way, but like getting the check is always
right.
When it's slow, that's the hardest part, I think, because you just want to go. You just want to get out of there, and you don't want to be rude about it.
I got to say that's the one thing when I am working at a place, or when I'm working, I'm so bad about. Like, I'll be holding someone's check, too, with their card in it for a minute, and then I just get distracted doing a million other things.
I get it. It's, it's hard on both ends. Obviously, like, the server is busy, but, like, the customer wants to fucking get the hell out of there. One thing... Well, there's a lot of things that and these are only things that I feel like I notice that when I'm out with my family, they don't care, but I just like notice these things. When restaurants don't do seat numbers, when they show up to the table with the food and they're like, okay, who had this? I hate that. Yeah. It's not that much more work to just tell the server, the runner, the seat number, have that worked out. And it sucks on both ends because the server's standing there with the food, and it takes the table a second to like realize what they said and to remember who ordered what. Yeah. And they're just like standing there, and they say it mad fast, just like, okay, who had the shrimp? And you're like,
and most of the times it's just 1 and 2.
Right.
Like you don't. Right. It's not that hard.
Yeah. It's just like it shouldn't even be a question. And it's a whole thing where then you're like trying to move the stuff off the table, right? Like that's the other thing is you should have like 2 plates in one hand, a free hand to take stuff and move stuff, and just know the seat number. I feel, and that's like it's not the server's fault. Like that's just how the restaurant
is organized and does that.
That's a pet peeve of mine.
That is a pet peeve.
And it's so hard to find because obviously like I'm a cook. I don't go to like nice restaurants. So the ones I do end up going to are always like lower or middle tier restaurants, and they never do the seat numbers, and it's such a small thing that is just kind of bugs me.
Get it right.
Right? Another thing is water glasses that are just not functional.
Dude,
they're too small.
Dude,
they're weirdly wide.
And also when they don't fill your freaking water back up,
and they don't fill the water up, or they don't just leave
a jug.
Leave a jug. I like that. I like when they leave a jug.
Leave the freaking jug.
Just leave a jug. But if they give you like a wide water cup that's only like this deep, and I drink a lot of water, so I go through that right away. And I'm like,
I drink so much water too.
So much water.
That's the thing too. I'll feel like a freaking animal sometimes when I'm at a place, and immediately first thing I do is pour myself a cup, down it. I'll down the whole freaking cup. Like I don't know if that's like weird of me, but
no, I do the same. And throughout the meal, I mean,
I'm just
chugging water. How could you not? You're eating like salt and stuff. That's the weird thing about like I heard some like Europeans say that like the weird thing about Americans is how much water we drink.
That's such a weird.
And when you go to like some countries, like when I was in the Czech Republic, water isn't free. Like it's on the menu. It's like, what do you want to drink? I'll get water, and it's like $1.50. You know, like, and then that's all the water you get, or you can buy another one.
Yeah.
Anywhere you go, it's like you have to ask for water, ask them to refill it. It's not like an expected thing.
That is insane.
People go out to restaurants and they just drink beer or they just drink wine.
I guess that's the one good thing about American cuisine over everywhere else is that water is complimentary and water is like
by law.
Yeah, by law.
As it should be.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's like not overpriced and
right.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I don't get how you can sit down to a meal and only drink the wine. I'm parched right now.
Yeah, literally.
Like, and to have to pay for water everywhere you go is insane. And,
that is insane.
And you just get like a bottle. It's like, I'll buy a bottle of water.
Like it's a bottle of wine.
Yeah. Or even some places you go, there's like, are they going to give us water? I'm not sure. You know. But they'll give you wine. The wine might be cheaper than the water.
That's crazy.
You know.
Well, is their water quality better over there?
I don't know.
Do they like
it's
go through
be good from the
another
Alps and
process?
stuff,
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. Maybe it's more expensive.
Yeah.
Or they just don't care about water. I don't know. It's not as important to them as it is to us, but it's very important to me.
Yeah. So you've been all over Europe, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
do you think that changed you? I want to know how it changed you before you left for Europe and when you came back. Like,
I don't think so.
You don't think it changed you at all?
I don't think so at all.
Really?
I just kind of like met some people.
Like the couch sitting guy?
Met people in hostels, whatever.
Yeah.
And just
because you went just solo, right?
Oh, and I got sick a lot.
Okay.
Because you're traveling around so much. I got like COVID and the flu and a cold back to back. Back to back to back.
COVID?
And because you're staying in like hostels where fucking everyone is sick. That's another reason I wouldn't do it again probably is like everybody was sick.
Right.
I mean, it was like...
Shit probably spreads so quick.
Oh, so quick. Yeah. I just got sick a lot. I mean, it was fun, but no, I don't.
But you didn't really, because I bet you went on it to like become a different person, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So you were a little like, were you like a little underwhelmed?
A little bit, and I thought that I would like stretch my money longer and stay for longer, but but after a couple months, I was like, I'm good. I'm gonna go home.
All right.
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm gonna go home.
Yeah, living in a place is a lot different than just going on a vacation, right?
It's exhausting.
It is exhausting.
I was like going to different cities like every few days, you know.
Also, maybe it's because you went into it with like the expectation of having this life-changing
experience.
Journey. That's such a difficult thing about vacations, right? Like, there's so much expectations going into every single one of them. Because think about even when you have like a night out, right?
Yeah.
Like even a night out, you're like, okay, I'm putting in my time, giving up my night. Like I could be doing anything with my free time right now, but I'm choosing to go out with this designated group of people to this spot, you know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of expectations that go into that. Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the hard thing about restaurants is that like all of the customers there are like, most of them are like, this is a really special night for them, and they're putting in a lot of money. Yeah. And like you said, like they could be doing anything else, but they're like having a special time here. So they have a lot of expectations, and we're just like doing our job that we do 40 hours a week.
Right.
And we're like, we don't really give a fuck. I mean,
you're just another person.
I mean, we do,
though.
but it's just like you're just another person.
Yeah.
If shit goes wrong, there's only so much I can do, and only so much effort we can put in to fix that. But it's like to them, this is like everything. Well, I mean, to most people, you know, it's like they're only out for one time a month or whatever. It's like this is everything, and to us, it's just like we don't really care. So that's why I try to care a little bit just for the humanity of it, not because I care about like the restaurant.
Same, and it also makes it more fun when you're like, my job is important right now, in the respect that like it's important to all these people for what I'm doing. Yeah, you know. But I do get what you're saying when there's like, especially when a customer's being a dick to you, right? When they're being such a dick, for no reason, it's like, dude, you're just another person.
You're just another person. You're one of like 100.
Right.
Something.
like some people go into a place and because they're spending money, they feel like they can act like they own the place, you know, and they feel like they can act like everyone needs to cater to them and they need to have a perfect experience.
Yeah.
That's one thing I think humans just in general have to eliminate from their mind. Like some nights you're just going to have shitty nights, you know?
Yeah.
And you got to be, sometimes you're just going to have shitty vacations.
You can't take it out on someone else.
Right. It's just like your trip to Europe. Like, you don't seem that bitter about the fact that it didn't change you, and that was 2 months of your life.
Yeah, sure. And I had a great time, but it wasn't like a life-changing experience.
Right.
You know?
Right. It was just like, this is France.
Right.
This is what it's about.
It was cool. Yeah. The French, though, are, they're not people that I would like to spend a lot more time with.
Right.
They're very direct and honest in a you know, like they just don't care. Like me coming from like the States, especially California, we're not very direct and we're very polite.
Yeah.
You know, like super polite. Even when I came to New York, I was like, the customer service here, like they don't like take that extra like effort to just be like polite. It's really just like straight ahead.
Interesting.
You know? And in France even more so. It was just like they don't really want to get to know you. They don't want to have this like meaningless superficial reaction or interaction.
Yeah.
It's just
French people almost
direct.
seem like too intuitive for me for their own good. Like they seem too intuitive to a fault. Like I don't know. It feels like they have a lot of answers. At least when I was in France, it felt like I don't know, they were all just like they knew how to spend their days. Like they knew that like fucking work doesn't matter and
Take an hour and a half lunch.
Right, exactly. And just
they're very sure about everything.
Yes, they're very sure about everything and like, oh, we should talk more at the dinner table. Fuck our phones, like, you know. Apéro is this huge freaking deal, and
there's a lot of
conversation and unity, drinking, and
not a lot of working, a lot of cheap wine, a lot of sitting outside at bars,
and a lot of people spend their time just like reading, like bettering themselves. Everyone cares about politics, you know. It's like a lot of things all of society should be, but it's almost like they do all that too much. Like all for a place of them feeling like they're better than everyone else.
100%.
Right.
That's the annoying thing is when I was there, like I'm an intermediate French speaker, and when I'm there, the thing that they hate is when Americans come and they just like walk into a cafe and start speaking English. Yeah. So obviously I'm like trying to speak to people in French, and as soon as I start, they'll just speak right back to me in English, even if their English sucks ass, and I'm like speaking competent French. They just like assume that like this interaction would be better in English, and it's not like when someone comes to a French person comes to the States and starts speaking broken English, I talk back to them in French, you know, or whatever, like. But they were just like so unwilling to even try to speak in their native language.
They're already sick of you when they don't even know who you are.
As soon as I walk into anywhere, into any restaurant, they're sick of me.
Because they feel like they could just categorize you based off like what they think in their minds. I got so lucky when I went to France. I went to Lyon, and I feel like that city just had a lot of youth and positive vibes there, at least I'd say. Like, so a lot of the strangers I talked to were actually super nice. I feel like I got really lucky. More like
Parisians. They're they're sick of the.
That's all I've
they're
heard
sick
about
of the
Paris.
Americans, for sure.
Which I kind of get.
They're not afraid to just say no. That was one thing that kind of caught me off guard. Is like if you're like doing something that's like instead of like like we would say like actually do this or this is done this way, they'll just be like no. And then and then like move on.
And then just walk around.
And that really caught me off guard.
Yeah.
I was not used to that.
No, 100%.
I would call it being rude.
I would too.
They would just say that's
they're like doing it for themselves.
But it's not for me. It's not so much. Not so much for me.
Yeah.
They're not as into just being friendly and polite. They're more into I don't know what the hell they're into, but
they're more into like I don't know. They're it's like a completion of themselves, you know? And that's what I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just completely.
Everybody hates on the French, though, you know.
But because they hate on a lot of other people.
They hate on everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Well, dude, we're at 53 minutes.
Sick, man.
I think. I mean, anything else you want to talk about?
Well, you know what? I got a couple more restaurant gripes for you.
Yeah, let me hear it.
Okay, one of them is when you order when you get an appetizer like burrata or something.
Okay.
And it doesn't come with. I was at this restaurant. We got burrata, and the server's like, "Do you want to buy a side of bread because it doesn't come with that?" I'm like, "What did you expect me to do? Just go in there with a spoon?"
Right.
How is that? Who's going to pay for that?
They do it on purpose.
Who is that going to be enjoyable for?
And you know that that's what they're doing.
Of course,
yeah,
right.
Yeah,
it's like they don't even try to hide it. When it's like, or it comes with like one little piece of bread, and you're like, well, what am I going to do with this? Obviously, I'm going to order more. I'm not just going to eat this white bean dip with a spoon. I would, like.
You should, out of protest. Next time you go there, you should just be like, oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, this is great, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for this well thought out dish.
Yeah.
Another one is when they serve, and this is really for just like shit restaurants, but they serve things on like a bed of undressed greens. Like you'll get like, a piece of salmon or whatever, and it just comes on like arugula that's like undressed just for like the look of it, but it's just like undressed dry arugula. And they like think it looks nice. And I just think
fuck that.
It looks like shit, and it doesn't taste good.
As
and
a
it just
cook,
looks
you must
so
get really aggravated with stuff like that. One fault of mine is that I'm not picky about what I eat, honestly.
Yeah.
Dude, here's a really weird thing about me, man. Especially when I'm like really hungry, and especially if there's like no food in the house or something. I'm cool with just eating a loaf of bread, like just straight up.
For sure.
You can do that?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Only with bread.
I don't know if that was just like a weird.
Bread is the life source of humanity. Like we used to there were times when we only had bread.
Right.
Like think of all the shit that came from just like having bread around, like fucking, meatloaf or whatever. Just like shit that we would just throw old bread in.
Yeah.
Like French toast, whatever.
Bro, I've had that thought so many times. Yeah. Just like, man, people way back in the day, this would really be a meal for them. Like, I'm going back in time.
Or like prisoners, they just give them like like Oliver Twist or whatever. He'd just get like a piece of bread this big.
Wow.
And that was his.
And that was enough.
He loved it.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
It is so
bread is
good.
So good.
When you really like eat the bread and focus on like the nuance of the flavors, you're like, it kind of is sucking in all your like saliva and yeah. I don't know. It's like soaking in your mouth.
This is a pigeon conversation.
What does that mean?
Two pigeons having a conversation.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Yo,
man.
that bread was
that's another restaurant gripe is when they group in all the dietary restrictions into one menu item.
Yeah.
So you'll have like the whole menu is meat, and then they're like, oh shit, we got to have something for the gluten-frees, the vegans, the vegetarians, the dairy-free people, and it's just all one shitty entree. And it's like I was looking at a menu for this restaurant, and their only non-meat entree was zoodles in a pomodoro sauce.
What are
and
zoodles?
It was like zucchini noodles, shredded zucchini that look like noodles, in like a vegan pomodoro sauce. And I was like, the gluten-free people don't want that.
Yeah.
They want dairy in there. The vegans don't want that. They want real noodles. The vegetarians don't want any of that shit. Like nobody wants to be lumped in with each other.
Right. And it's just because there's been customers that come there. They're like, oh, you don't have any vegan options. You don't have any.
Right.
That's a customer thing that annoys me too. Look at the menu before you come, especially if you have all those dietary restrictions.
Before you come.
Because I'd rather just any restaurant, no matter what it is, just make what you think is really good.
Yeah. Right. I don't want to change what you think. Like, you tell me what's good. That's why I'm here.
Exactly.
Like, when people are like, can I swap this for that and have this on the side and like put mustard on this that's not supposed to be on? It's like, you think you know better than,
are you the chef?
Are you the chef? I'm just wondering.
Right. You better be a chef.
That
because
really bugs me.
Other than that, fuck you.
Yeah. The last one is...
Yeah, let me hear it.
When the lighting is too... Well, the lighting is very important, but when it's too low, like, sometimes the place I work at, depending on what manager's working, they'll have the lights, like, basically off.
Yeah.
And like people are out there with their phone flashlights trying to see the menu. If I can't like see the food at all, That's a problem. Obviously, I don't want it to be too bright. That's also a problem.
Right.
But like,
candlelit is perfect.
Candlelit nice.
Anything candlelit.
I should at least be able to read the menu.
Yeah.
100%. Right? Like,
I mean, yeah, that seems just,
that seems
I don't
like
even
the bare
know how
minimum.
much, that's just like a complete agree for me.
Right.
Like, if you can't see, I mean, who's enjoying that?
Yeah.
There's some freak that is.
some
like
freaks.
it
I mean,
dark.
some,
I like it dark in
people
there.
on like first dates, I think. That's what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for a dark place.
Yeah, and I hate how every experience is catered towards people going on dates. You know what I mean? Everywhere you go, it doesn't even matter. Just everything has to be romantic.
Yeah,
you know?
Right. Sometimes
And
I'm just out with my family.
No,
with the boys.
Especially with your family, it feels a little weird. But like,
right, restaurants that are trying to feel like nightclubs.
Yeah.
The music is too loud and not the vibe, and it's like super dark.
Yeah.
And the bar is like the centerpiece of the restaurant. And it's all built out, and there's like 3 bartenders back there. Like, it's not a nightclub.
Yeah, and it just if I'm not with a date, even when I go to a nightclub now, if you don't have a date with you, like, what's the point of really even going?
Right.
Because that's what it's all for. That's what it's all catered for. Like, it's not catered for a bunch of guys to just go in and dance.
Of course not.
You feel weird. You feel like a creep, and everything is like meant for you to have that experience. But the thing is, everyone in society today, like, I feel like sex is sold so much. But most people our age, or at least what I think, they're just not into that anymore. And everyone is so turned off by the thought of like meeting someone randomly and just having this
hookup
like
culture is dead.
Yeah, it really is
dead. If I can't like talk to somebody, at even like a loud, speaking volume, why am I there? Even some bars, like, the music is too loud to have a conversation.
Right.
I don't want to be there.
Yeah. And
I'm gonna like put in earplugs because it's too loud.
And these like spur of the moment, like random excursion things are just not what the generation is feeling anymore. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm old, but I've always been that way. I've always been.
Theme of this podcast: we're getting fucking
old, man.
We're feeling old.
Feeling old.
And then there's old people that are gonna look at us saying that statement like, "Oh, what the hell are you saying?" Right? I feel like I've said that so much in life.
I have chronic back pain. Yeah. I have my, I'm old.
Yeah.
I know.
But it's exciting. It's exciting to get old.
Yep. Yeah. It's better than being like 21.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People that's a curse.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. People that are over a certain age and they're going back to college towns, I think, are some of the cringiest.
Oh, definitely.
People.
There was a biology teacher at my high school who was like, just kind of made himself like the biggest like mascot for our high school. Like, he'd be at every sporting event, like decked out, like basically like leading the
pep rally.
Yeah. He was like so into it, and I was like, that's cool for him, but it's a little.
Yeah, that's one thing. It's one type of person I still have yet to really fully understand. Because it's all college and all that stuff is just a place for like, I feel like kids to just get out a lot of weird.
Oh yeah.
Get that out. These.
Right. Well, some people didn't get that out.
People didn't get that out
yet.
yet.
Some people did not get that out.
And they're still living with that. Yeah.
You meet them every day.
You
work with them a lot, especially in restaurants.
You definitely work with them a lot.
Yeah.
They still have a lot of weird to fucking extort.
Yeah.
Exporting your weird.
Yeah.
Is that exporting
it's like
is like
giving it to someone else.
Yeah.
Like, which is what they're doing.
Yeah. Extorting is definitely not the word. Extorting is definitely not the word for that. All right, but I wanted to say one more thing too. Like, I don't know if I've said it over the course of this podcast too, but a word I'm not feeling, and I wanted to talk to you because you're like the vernacular king, and I've really realized I say this word so much, and it's kind of cringing me out because I've been like analyzing my own vernacular. But the word dude.
Oh.
Dude. I don't know why I say that so much. It just rolls off my tongue, but it's so cringe to me.
It is cringe.
It's a fucking cringe word to use these days.
I gotta look up the etymology of this.
What does etymology mean?
So etymology is like the origin of a word.
Fuck yeah.
And I've been really into that. And so you just get curious, you know, where do these words come from?
Yeah.
Dude is a shortening of doodle, like Yankee Doodle. Yankee Doodle do, you know? Yankee Doodle went to town.
Yeah. Pony and
I guess it's
who
short.
the fuck was
short
Yankee
for that.
Doodle?
That I don't know. That I don't know. But
I just know the song.
It's a cringe word for sure. Especially when
so cringe.
Especially when you think of it that you're calling someone Yankee Doodle. What's up, Yankee Doodle? Like that makes it way more cringe.
That makes it so cringe.
Yeah.
Except Yankee Doodle sounds cooler than dude.
Yeah, definitely. No, honestly, wait. Maybe we should take that back.
Yankee Doodle.
You know what the British used to do back in the day? Their slang thing was they'd take a word like, okay, the reason we call it a raspberry when you like, you know, they took the word fart and they rhymed it with raspberry tart, and then you take only the first word of that thing, raspberry. So they do that with all kinds of things.
Oh, okay.
So you could take like Yankee Dude, like dude kind of rhymes with Yankee Doodle, and just take off the doodle and just call people Yankee.
What's good, Yankee? But then it fucks up because the team.
That sounds terrible.
It fucks up because the team.
No, that sounds terrible.
I feel like there's a place for Yankee Doodle though.
Yeah.
It's good, my Yankee Doodle.
No.
That's
terrible.
There's a place
we'll
for it
there.
though. That dude's such a Yankee Doodle.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, that could be good. Like a munch.
Right. It just has to be in a rap song.
Yeah.
All right. Next episode, you
Ice
come on.
Spice should use Yankee Doodle.
Dude, if Ice Spice used Yankee Doodle, it'd be over.
Oh, that would be huge.
But yeah, he's such a Yankee Doodle.
That's gold.
Okay, next
That's
episode,
gold.
you come on. We'll have a definition for Yankee Doodle.
Yeah. And
or we'll have a place
laid
for
out
it.
usage.
All right, respect, bro.
All right.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, dude.
My guy.
My man.
My guy, not my dude.
No, my
Fuck
bro.
that. Yeah, my bro. That was a good way to end it.
Yeah, nice.